Hello everyone, and a Happy New Year! I am Bram of Bram Grote Films, and this is my 400th video, and my first video for 2014, and my first Q&A video. After answering the questions you submitted to me, I will tell you what I have planned for this year. Oh, good heavens, there are so many of them, and I like just about all of them. I can't really think of anything that I dislike about any of them, or anything that makes me like it better than the others. So yeah, in short, I'm not sure. I'm not good with favorites. My favorite season would probably be Season 4, because of it just makes... after Season 3, which they drifted away from the books, they came back to the books and mostly adapted stories they had skipped. They finally introduced the narrow gauge engines, which I kind of like, and they told stories they had skipped over, like Henry and the Elephant, and one of my favorites of the 4th season, Toad Stands By. After the 4th season, the 2nd season is my favorite season, because there are a number of episodes I like in it, like A Close Shave, Edward's Exploit, Old Iron, and The Deputation are 4 of my favorite stories in the entire series. Probably 6 and 7, largely because, they're just kind of, meh. They're not terrible, but they're just not as good as the others in my opinion. All of the new series things are kind of... I'm not entirely fond of them. So, in short, I'm not quite sure which one's my favorite and least favorite. I guess he's an okay character. We haven't seen much of him since he disappeared off the face of the earth after the 7th season. Appeared in 3 episodes and he just disappeared. It would be kind of nice to see him again. Like everybody else, I liked it a lot. And I must say that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was actually about to take the place of Thomas and Friends as my favorite TV show. But then, with Season 7, Thomas and Friends snatched the first place spot. Yes, indeed, the writing has improved, and I'm glad to see Duck again, especially since they refer to him as Montague in the beginning, and they make reference to the Great Western Railway. It's also nice to see Bill and Ben again. And just overall, the writing has definitely improved. And it stood out to me that they used the word local in Gordon Runs Dry, a word that was never used in the television series or the railway series. Another thing is, I've realized that before season 17, I was just watching the episodes of Thomas, not because I enjoyed them, but because I wanted to keep track of where the series is going, no pun intended. Even though it was rapidly going downhill, I wanted to be aware of what was happening in the show. But then with season 17, the episodes became enjoyable to watch again. So yeah, I liked season 17. I actually grew up with very little video games, so I don't know a lot about the characters, though I know a few things about them. And from what I know, possibly Sonic. Well, it started back in 2005-2006, when I was showing friends of the family my claymation work, which wasn't all that great at the time. This was one of the things I did, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But a friend liked them and suggested that I try out a new site called YouTube, where I could post my own videos. I had that in the back of my mind, and then in 2009, in August, we decided that it was time I get a YouTube account, so I set it up with help of my brother, who suggested the username Bram Grote Films, which is how I know most of you today. Calling All Engines is my least favorite because I don't like Michael Brandon's nasally narration. My favorites would be Thomas and the Magic Railroad, it has nostalgia. Blue Mountain Mystery also has nice nostalgia. And I like King of the Railway for its Railway series inspired stuff. Frankly, I am this close to becoming a Whovian. All I need to do is actually see episodes. My brother has talked to me a lot about the series, and my brother-in-law is a big fan, as is my sister. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are Whovians, and once I find the time for it, I'm definitely going to watch some episodes of Doctor Who myself. But from what I know about it, I like what I've seen, as you probably guessed, because I'm close to becoming a Whovian. Yes, I have a somewhat small collection because I mostly collected the Oodle die-cast models when I was young, but still I have acquired quite a few wooden rolling models. And here they are. Here's my collection. So yeah, I can get closer to those particular engines if you wish me to. Not really, though it would be kind of nice to have him as part of my collection. I mostly collect Bachmann. And, because, well, that's another one of my questions regarding Hornby, so I might as well go to that one. It would be kind of nice, especially since I like the Hornby Express coaches better, and Spencer actually has his brake coach in the Hornby line, but it's just harder to get since they're only available in the United Kingdom, and I live in the United States. Plus, in the last 5 years, I think it's been 6 engines that were originally only made by Hornby have now been made by Bachmann too. So anyone who had those models, in addition to Bachmann models, now has somewhat superfluous models. Just this one. The spiteful brake fan. Probably peas, but not canned. Ugh. I definitely like the frozen ones better. Cooked, of course, but the ones that you store in your freezer. I personally slightly like it. It's different from Thomas, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You might hate me for saying this, but it's Thomas himself. I have about 60, I think, is what I currently have. And I think it's time that I explain exactly how I set up the layouts. In my basement, I have a 4x8 foot piece of plywood set up on a couple of dressers, where I set my layouts up. I make them relatively simple. I do the filming that I need to do, and when I'm finished, I take it down and move on to the next set. Well, if I remember right, my mother said that I liked him since I was born. It had first been my older brother who liked it, but I kind of commandeered his Oodle models, and he lost interest in the series, and my interest just kept getting stronger. I will be turning 22 at the beginning of April in this upcoming year. Again, there are just so many of them. I listed a few of my favorites were from the second season. But in addition to them, I also like Thomas and the Breakdown Train, Troublesome Trucks. I kind of like Henry's Forest. Also, I enjoy watching The Thomas Way, Bill or Ben. So yeah, and there are probably a lot others that I enjoy, so I'm not quite sure what my favorite one is overall. I'm hoping to go somewhere into film, either as being an editor or a script supervisor. That's someone who does checks for continuity. I'm also wanting to go into stop-motion animation, and perhaps even be a film historian. So those are all of the ones I hope to go. I hope to go somewhere in one of those directions. It was something like this. Oh, there are a few guys who like My Little Pony. Well, back to my other life. And then eventually it caught my interest and escalated to the point of where I am now, where some of the plushies behind me consist of My Little Pony. This old thing. It was largely inspired by a combination of boredom, ideas I had in my head, and the fairy tale The 12 Dancing Princesses, as well as the feature film starring Barbie, which I had seen due to having sisters and an open mind. So I just combined those ideas and came up with the 6 Vanishing Engines. Though, frankly, I kind of feel about it the way Miss Oliver and Blossom feels about his older T&F episodes. That would have to be Edward. Not with trains, though I have had a few claymation ideas, but no model series. My favorite probably would be one of these 3, or 4. Stephen, Luke, Stafford, and Paxton. Well, I have only 2. My HO series and my Trains series. They both have their ups and downs. With HO, I have to deal with models that don't always work. And just having to build the sets myself and having limited space. With Trains, I don't have those, but I do have the problem of if an engine derails, I'm stuck. I can't put it back on the rails. Plus, I have to deal with slow-running programs. And sometimes Trains just gives me a headache with some of the things that I want to be able to do but can't do. So, yeah, both my HO series and my Train series have their ups and downs. I just guess people like my videos. That's all I can say. Good heavens, no. Though I must say that my popularity is mostly thanks to all my Thomas videos. And here is where I transition from Q&A to talking about my plans for the future. Well, I feel like it's going to be easier explaining my plans through titles, so here we go. Oh, one more question that wasn't submitted as a Q&A one, but someone asked and I thought it'd be easiest to answer it here. Well, starting with production, first when I filmed it, I would film it for an extra long time, first with Spencer either not in it or in it, and then I'd either take him out or add him in. And then when editing, I would use the shots with Spencer, would be an overlay thing, and I made that particular one transparent. Therefore, when the images were placed together, Spencer would be transparent, but nothing else would be changed. I also used the same effect for a ghost at Knapford Station, which I made back in May of 2012. And one more that I forgot. Yes, I actually have about a dozen American non-Thomas diesel engines, and I think hundreds of rolling stock items which I have inherited from various places. I hope to show some of them next year.